looking for something. A new way, a new understanding, a connection, some comfort. You've got questions, and Light on Living puts the spotlight on all the answers so you can shine. Lift and lighten the load of life's challenges and learn simple and easy ways to live a healthy, happy life. You'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you. You're invited to hear new, see different, and feel more as Lisa shines the light on living.
Hello, hello everyone, and welcome to Light on Living. I know you're all dancing right now to that music. I found like an extra little jig in my step when I was listening to that. And I know it's because today is truly such an uplifting show. I'm already saying that. I know it's already happened in my world. And so welcome everybody. I'm so happy for today's show. I think we need it. I think it's the light that we need. It's the illumination that we are all looking for that light. And I'm just going to jump right into saying to everybody right now, you are going to learn today the beginning steps anyways on how to activate your illumination. And if you don't even know what that means, I'm going to share with you what my guest is all about first, and I think you're going to get a little bit of an idea. I have Aurora Light with me here today, and she calls herself a Joy Alchemist and Soul Embodiment Guide as the creator of Joy Evolution. Her mission is to empower you to go from fearing your spiritual gifts to activating them as your superpowers so you can fulfill your soul mission and light up the world. She is here to remind you that everything you have ever done has been training for this time. You have honed your skills and it is time to shine. Aurora loves holding space for epic transformation, either one-on-one or in her Alchemical Creation Academy. And you can find out more and we'll let you know later, but it's joyevolution.com. And I have to tell you, I have a personal experience with Aurora just before I bring her on here. And my first personal experience, she didn't even know because I was watching her and I thought, who is this radiant, iridescent rainbow just shining around? And then I had the joy of spending some time with her on a discovery call. And my gosh, there was discoveries to be had. So first of all, welcome, Aurora.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Lisa. You are just the most amazing energy that lights up my soul, and hearing you say the words about me just really made those land in my heart in a way I've never heard them before. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And I put in the description when I was sharing with people about you that literally I feel like your words dance. I feel like your voice sings. And I know that you have this in your life, but you really do. And when people watch you, and I'm inviting everybody right now, it's Aurora Light. You've got to check out her Facebook page. You have Aurora Light Belus, I think, and then Light, because I want to make sure that they can find you. But they just got to find you because just witnessing you, I think, activates. That's my first question. I have a huge question. I posted it today, but it's about activation. Can you just share what are we activating? What are you activating? What does that mean, activations?
So it has to do with dormant codes in your DNA that are lying in wait to light up. Basically, that activation is them being turned on. And these codes are things that you have carried with you through your ancestral lineage, through your whole life, or even ones that have actually just recently been integrated into your DNA because it's constantly shifting and moving. So there are things within you that can turn on or light up at any time, and an activation can be internal from just your own readiness or an external clue or cue.
Oh my gosh, that was actually so perfect. I think I could talk for an hour about that, but okay. So the really like wow stuff that you just helped me. This morning as I was preparing for the live, I thought, when we're talking about these, well, as you mentioned, dormant codes, which I love that you said, that's in your soul, and may or integrating new ones that you're ready for. My question this morning, and I'm dying to ask you, is a lot of people say, well, we're finding out who we are, we're learning who we are. And then I thought, well, wait a second, aren't we remembering who we are? So then my question, okay, so if it's dormant, that's where a memory might come in, or would we still need to learn who we are to wake it up?
That is an amazing question, and I know in your live you said exactly what I would say. It's both. And when I speak of remembering, it's tuning into that time when it's a feeling in your body and it's your soul remembrance, right? Ooh. It might be your current human self learning it for the first time, but that larger aspect of you that's, eternal, multidimensional goes, oh yeah, you knew that already. And that's that feeling of remembrance.
That was so beautiful. Like, it literally was so beautiful. Your soul has the memory of it, but you, for the first time in this physical being, is having that. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Okay. Oh, okay. That is very, oh my gosh, it feels good kind of thing. And I'm just jumping right into everything because yesterday when I was, like, there's just so much energy around you. I think that's what it is. I get excited because there's just so much going on. You're so flashy, shiny, sparkly. But ancestors, I'm diving into this because when I think about memories, remembering, or storytelling, I do think of ancestors. And are we how much value does their lives, our ancestors' lives, hold in our current life right now? How can we use that, or should we not?
Oh, they have so much value. We are standing on the shoulders of all of our ancestors, not only of our physical lineage through our epigenetics, but also from our soul family as well. So without them, we couldn't be where we are now. And they are so present with us now, too, cheering us on because we are doing things that they were only dreaming of or couldn't even conceive of in this life. And they went through so much, and everything that they did was about surviving, right, to get us here, to this point, to this now. But we're ready to move out of all of that old survival patterning that we have that's programmed in us at this really deep level. So rather than, blaming our ancestors for giving us some of things that could be perceived as, like negative traits, maybe the anxiety, depression, other things that have been running through your lineage, we can honor them with so much compassion and gratitude because they did get us here. And we have this ability now in this new energy to make conscious choices that can reprogram our genes. But without them having got us to this point, without them having survived, then we wouldn't be able to do any of what we are currently doing and about to do.
Yeah, survival is a big word, and it makes me ask the question, had we been in a survival state and for our future, so like, have we just been maybe going along life going, wow, we need to survive for the future, our future people, and now it's time to maybe say we're not just surviving, we're doing more and for the future? Like, are we here just for the future or people, or are we here for us too?
Oh, I think we're absolutely here for ourselves in this moment, but also for, every generation forwards and backwards in time. We're here for it all.
Now, that is something I've picked up about you, and more so with you than anyone I've actually ever met. You have seemed to represent something that I really don't have. I don't sense a timeline barrier with you ever. I actually really feel like everything is you. Like, that's so weird to say that, but you know what I mean? Like, you are my ancestor. You are my future people. You are my different dimension. Have you done work, like, is that just me recognizing that in you, or is that you have chosen to be boundless and timeless?
Both. And I'm also reflecting this aspect of you as well, because I am just this mirror to help you remember who you really are. But we are multidimensional beings. And it's only the perceptions that we hold of ourselves and our belief systems and our frequency that keep us feeling like we're in this one time and place and space. And so when we do elevate our frequency and remember at that soul level that we are more than that we are multidimensional beings, we do get into that boundless state. And going back to the question that you just had that I don't think I answered, that is where we are moving into to go beyond just surviving, right? We did survive because that's the old Earth energy. We have to survive. Yes. And some of us could move into thriving, but so much of the collective consciousness and the energy was just about surviving because it was a real thing. And for many people, it still is. But more and more of us now are in the position where all of our basic needs are met, right? And our day-to-day survival is not usually what we are focused on. And if it is, then that's where you need to be focused. But if you are ready to move into that boundless state where you are thriving and remembering that you are so much more than just this now and this body, then that's where we are moving into as a whole. And it is somewhere that I play in all the time. It's really fun. So I want to invite people to remember to come along for this journey.
Yes, that's something you really do is play. And you can feel that, you can hear that. And if somebody right now is in a space where they're kind of like their ears are tuning in here, they're like, okay, this is feeling good, but really how can we play in a time like that? Well, any time, because sometimes we just get into our own world and we're like, wow, life is kind of stinky poo right now. And I'd like to play, but do we have to give ourselves, how do we start to play? By giving ourselves permission, by finding a playmate? How do we start to play?
There are so many ways, and it's an individual journey. You could literally just give yourself permission to start to play. But one of the techniques that I have in my pocket that we did use together was that belief repatterning, and it starts with forgiveness, right? Forgiving the belief systems that are keeping us in that fight or flight or survival where we forget that we can play, or we don't feel like we can. So just giving ourselves some forgiveness for being in those places and spaces. And then giving ourselves permission.
Yes, there's such a distinction there between forgetting and not feeling like we can. And yeah, I think that's going to go into the patterns. Can you talk a little bit about the pattern that you're talking about, the belief repatterning?
Oh, sure. It is one of the more recent techniques and modalities that I have encountered that shifts and moves energy. And I've done this in so many ways over my lifetime as a doula, as a priestess, an elemental creation coach, hula hooping, just doing all kinds of different things. And then I stumbled across belief, and by stumbled across, I mean synchronicity lined it up for me to find through several people and through hula hoops. And I was led to this technique that was developed by Suze Casey, who is a Hay House author, who is also a teacher. And she had a master's degree in how our brains learn. And they are plastic. So she wanted to figure out how to think positive when we are stuck in that place where we don't think we have any options and we don't know how to, or we want to, but we just don't know how. Because the grooves in our brains that have been in that survival pattern, we just call it the ick, are so deep. It's really hard to get out of those ruts. So she scaffolded it with learning theory with these 7 steps to help us move from step to step gently in a way that allows everybody to do it. Because if you are stuck, you can't just go right to the joy and the affirmations and the I am boundless, because your monkey mind is going, no, you are not right now, at least, and I don't know how to get there. So we can be gentle with ourselves and give ourselves a step-by-step process, this tool to move more smoothly with grace and ease, and we go from forgiveness to that permission you were talking about, and then we do it as a conscious choice where we can ceremonially weigh the options. Because you could choose to stay stuck in all of that it, because you're a sovereign being and you have that right. It is totally up to you, and you can spend as much time there as you want to, because there are lessons to be learned, right? And we can be grateful for the lessons. But when you're ready, you can choose to shift your perspective, to shift that energetic frequency. And then belief repatterning also anchors in the new frequency by helping you tie it to an old memory of something that you already have done and already are. because we're these boundless, infinite creatures, we have everything we need inside of us. And we just focus on that so it expands within us. And then we tie it to something in the future. So we're weaving time together in our brain. And then we can make those affirmations like, I am this, that we couldn't get to when we were really spinning in the muck. Right? And then we just move through these things with much more ease than trying to force our way there or just like fly up when we might need a ladder.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that. Yeah. So we want to fly there, but yeah, use the ladder. We'll still get there.
Exactly.
You just brought something now. We still have another minute and a smidge for commercial, but something you just said there about affirmations, like an I am statement, an affirmation, and you made me just realize that even when I read my own I am statements that I may have written last year, last week, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, there has to be movement in it because I'm growing and learning. And when we do come back, I would love for you to share a little bit about, yes, having movement in our I am statements, having movement in our affirmations, how to make those small steps, whether we use a hula hoop or not, and just, yes, how we begin to truly activate and illuminate our experiences as we grow. So everybody come back after the commercial break. We're here with Aurora Light, and we are truly finding out how to activate your illumination.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Hi, this is David Strickle. I'm excited to share my brand new show, The Stream of David Live, right here on OMTimes Radio. Each week I'll have exciting guests and I'll channel the eternal wisdom of the stream, a group of non-physical entities whose teachings have transformed lives all over the world. So join us for an uplifting hour each Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. That's The Stream of David Live right here on OMTimes Radio.
Are you considering starting your own podcast? Do you have a book or other content you'd like to share with a worldwide audience? Give your book a voice. Hello, I'm Lisa Berry, host of Light on Living here on OMTimes Radio. Myself and Tomas Garza, host of Decide to Transform, help people like you produce your very own radio show. At Podcast Prosperity, we help you create your show and recirculate your content for multimedia impact. Through creation and launch, we give you the support and mentorship you need and help you create the influence, income, and impact that you desire. Contact us at lightonliving.com, Podcast Prosperity.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. You're here with Lisa Berry, myself, and Aurora Light. She is a creator. She actually has Aurora Light's Joyful Alchemy signature system. Learn how to turn your woo into woo-hoo. I love it. And she really is a woo-hoo. She's just so much fun, yes, and light, yes, but extremely resourceful. And when I say resourceful, I mean like from all dimensions. I feel like, Aurora, you reach into this bag, like literally that Santa Claus bag, that rainbow bag, I don't know what's just kind of bag, and pulls out just like knowledge and tools and memories and from everywhere. You're just amazing. I'm just so impressed. I'm so happy.
I love that. I was picturing definitely a very sparkly sack when you started to talk about that. There's a lot of glitter.
It is a lot of glitter, the glitter bag. Well, you know what? And in that glitter bag, I'm inviting people to have a peek in there because along with you have such really cool things. I'm going to jump into something that's very new to me and to probably many people, and I'm excited to share this. But as you teach people how to activate things, one of the things you help people to, I believe, I'm wording this right, you help people to activate their own light language, or are you helping people to create their light language? And can you tell us what light language is?
Oh, sure. So I like to think of it as a soul language that's coming from your multidimensional essence, your higher self, and just every bit of times, places, things, people that you've ever been. And when you tune into your own light language, you're just remembering it. So you're moving the blocks away that say, I can't do that, or I don't know how, and just allowing your soul to speak without worrying about English words or a specific language. And it's just sound coming from you that's infused with your particular light codes and sacred geometry. And it moves beyond the mind level, and it can just be absorbed at the heart or soul level. And so people hear it and they often say, that sounds so familiar. And it's this soul remembering that we were talking about before. And there are many different, they call them dialects. If you're tuning into, say, a light language aspect of yourself, your multidimensional self that's from the Pleiades or from Arcturus or Andromeda or just this divine feminine or this divine masculine from a council of light, there'll be just all kinds of different things that can come through, but they are typically all coming through you and not necessarily channeling through, say, another being, right? It's not going to be one of your guides or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yes, I like that you said that. Yes, it's coming through you. It's not channeling through you. It's coming through you. It's like it's being distilled in all your cells and DNA, as you said, in these codes, and then coming out. So would somebody else, I guess what you're saying is if I were to speak a light language, somebody else could understand it, but not in the way that we understand a word that is spoken. They just understand the vibration of it?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So they come with that electromagnetic wave of the thoughts and the feelings. And if we are open and sensitive to receiving that, you might just get feeling, but you might also get a download of information. Everybody, absorbs the energy in different ways, and you always receive exactly what it is you need to receive. And it oftentimes activates dormant things in your DNA codes that then get switched on and turned on through that. And it's actually a really ancient practice, the practice of speaking in tongues in biblical times and things like that. Same thing. Same as when we just sing nonsense in the shower. The same thing. It's just allowing your soul to speak or sing its own essence.
I like that. And it does. There's a lot of, when you say sacred geometry in this particular case, do you just use sacred geometry? And could you explain a little bit about that? Or does that help with the light language? Or is that just to help us in general as our soul goes on this journey?
So everybody's soul, which is a fractal of the universal source, has its own very particular light, sound, and sacred geometry that makes it distinct to everyone else's in the universe. And it can always be shifting and changing as well, which gets, kind of confusing. But yeah, we are all shapeshifters, and we have so much of that energy that comes through. But light language can be spoken, it can be sung, but it is also something that can be written down, right? It can also be art. So there are light language codes that you can see that are sometimes like actual sacred geometry patterns that you can see, and sometimes it's just like loops and swirls and circles and all kinds of things that are just encoded with particular light and sound frequencies with that electromagnetic information that turns on different things in your DNA.
I love that. I love that. It's neat because, when it's reminding me, well, first of all, hieroglyphs, but it's also reminding me of when we're little, we're talking about that playing again, and we make up our own language, secret language with your best friend or something, so it just, those patterns. And is that why some of us, now I'm just total out of the blue question here, like I remember I have one of my friends that just loves triangles for angular things. And then I might find myself more attracted to like swirls and circles. Does this have anything to do with our frequency and why we're drawn to different patterns?
I am getting a big full yes on that. Everything that we are drawn to tends to be because it reminds us of us. It's that soul remembrance.
That's so interesting. I'm inviting everybody right now to look around you and to see what shapes you are surrounded by. And first of all, if there might be some rooms that you feel really good in your house and some rooms you don't feel really, all the best. And I wonder if maybe there's like a little fun game to be played there with recognizing if you like a particular room more because of the shapes of objects are in there or the colors of, cushions or stuff like that. That'd be really neat to see if people could pick up on that. Is that an interesting way to start to recognize things?
Oh, sure. And also knowing that because we're just this fractal of everything, we've got all of the universe in us. So it's more about what is resonating with us in this moment. Your taste can change and shift. And it can also be just what feels good for you in this now in terms of a color, things like that does change over time. And it's often based upon what we need.
Oh, okay. It's what we're needing. Is there a universal need right now that you are tapped into, like that you can sense?
In this now, definitely letting things that are holding us back from perceiving, knowing, and feeling who we really are, all of the old programs, all of the old ick, just allowing that to fall away with grace and ease, right? Just letting it go if it's not serving you so that we can remember more of who we really are. Because the thing that's happening very strongly to people in this process of enlightenment, ascension, elevating their frequency and consciousness is when we try to hang on to the old and it's not actually serving us anymore, then we're being weighed down by that and it starts to create disease in our body, right? It starts to really impact us in ways that it didn't in the past. So allowing ourselves to move into this new energy where we can let things fall away without trying to hang on to them so desperately, knowing full well that desperation to hang on to things was a survival mechanism, right? Going back to what our ancestors had to do.
Yes.
We're not them anymore, right? We're in a new energy, and we can create and let things fall away and be in that new energy so much more easily when we let the old things just stay where they are and we can rise.
I'm having a huge epiphany right now from what you said. That was so beautiful and deep, but so obvious at the same time, because I'd like to share, my mother she was ill and suffered all of her life that I knew her, and then way before then, and she passed. And people would ask me, well, what did she die from? And I swear, I always say she died from negative emotion. And I almost never say any of the diseases because it's funny that, and why I'm having an epiphany right now is that's something I've always known and said, but my mother used to always say, I'm in survival mode. She couldn't let go of these things and I love that you just actually put that together like a little piece of a puzzle again for me. That's what I always love about you. I feel like you're the person who helps me put little pieces together through this picture. But you're right, because I love that if people could just really, I hope that clicked for somebody else. if they've been in, or if they are stuck in survival mode, they are hanging on to things that, honestly, I love this. If we were to let them go, we would let more light come in, which is the illumination. And then we could, that ascension, or that, expansion could be possible. It's there, but we're just hanging on to so much stuff.
Yep. And through no fault of their own, though, because
right.
we were programmed to do it. And that's why I fell in love with belief repatterning, because it works on any brain and for anyone in these gentle ways, step by step. So you're not trying to take someone who has always been in this negative thought spiral and pattern and yank them up, because God knows I have tried to do that in the past, and it's not available for people, and then they reject it, right? And it's not kind. But if you can give someone a tool that will let them move through the stages in these gentle ways, with that forgiveness and the permissions, and as slow as they need to go, then it's accessible.
That makes so much sense to me, because as I witness myself and others, I can see that sometimes I really want to let something go, let's say, and I think it's holding me back. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, but wait a second, that does actually serve me at the same time. And what if I need that still? So I feel like there's a dichotomy sometimes with the stuff that I know I'm holding on to, because I'm like, yeah, it's not very good for me, but if I let it go, then I'm going to be a different person. Can you speak to that at all? What fears people might have about letting something go, even though it's like horrible or not serving them, but it actually is part of them, their identity, I guess, or what they feel they need.
Yeah, it's part of the human ego identity, which is not a bad thing at all. The human ego was the aspect of ourselves that up until now, with this new energy that's available to us, this bigger light quotient and ability to connect more with our souls and actually embody our souls, the soul wasn't able to be presently in the human body like it is now and like we're moving into. So the human ego had to basically take care of this body and the mind and the everything, and it didn't have the visionary perspective that the soul had. So it was like driving this bus, but it didn't have a map, and all it was trying to do was stay on the road, and it didn't have all of that multidimensional perspective of the soul and the relaxation and the knowing even that it was eternal. All it was doing was trying to survive, and that's okay. But when we allow our soul to come and inhabit our bodies by clearing out some of that density, then we're able to relax, because that visionary perspective and the knowing and the trust come in. But the soul can't come in to give us that perspective unless we make space for it. So we have to be doing both of these things at the same time. And then we're able to trust the ride, even if we don't know where we're going, that who we are going to become, or who we're remembering that we are, is actually who we've always been destined to be. So the fear of that is the fear of separation or annihilation, right? Not being who we were.
Yes.
And when we move into that trusting and surrendering and allowing things to fall away, then we get to be more of who we really are, as these eternal, multidimensional, shining stars, these illuminated soul aspects of light that we truly are. But it's scary because we don't know, right? We don't trust.
Yes,
and we don't necessarily remember.
I have to recap what you said there. The ego doesn't have the visionary perspective of the soul, and that we are eternal. Oh my gosh, okay, that was like flashy, sparkly lights everywhere, just beautiful. Because I love that you said, as we hang on to those things, our ego hangs on to those things, because if we still want to be angry at somebody, if we still want to fight that we think, or defend, or step into that kind of an ego thing, we would need that belief. We would need that. But if we are ready, as you said, if we are ready to shine and to illuminate, to be more, to expand, to remember and to grow, then we no longer need that ego, and it's safe to let it go, because you're like, I don't need that weapon, almost. I didn't mean weapon, but you know what I mean, that sword to fight the fight. We can move forward. That's what I got from that. That was just beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And the thing, though, is that so many people are trying to kill the ego or let it go. Yeah. And really, truly, I would rather give it a hug and like hold it with this gentle compassion of like, I know you did the best that you could to keep this body alive, and thank you. And I'm here now as a conscious being who has more ability to navigate, right? Who can take the wheel from the ego and say, like, it's okay, you can relax now. Let's do this together. I have a map. I know where we're going, right? And the ego just did the best it could, so I want to honor it instead of kill it. Like, let's integrate all of it, because that's where we're moving into, is this integrated unity place instead of separating further.
Aurora, oh my gosh, I love that. I've got all these little, I think you should have your own t-shirt line. I think I say it to just a few people. And I love that okay, here, everybody who wants this t-shirt, give your ego a hug. I want that t-shirt. But I just love that, and to say, I'm here now as a conscious being, able to navigate. Let's do it together, to trust. Let's integrate. Oh my gosh. It's just the beauty, what comes out, like just that comfort that you are able to offer. We still have a minute before commercial, and I want to just take a big breath there, because there's so much, so many layers. I love this. When we do come back, if you could share with us, so everybody, to come back to listen to this, how you are able to help people go through this activation process to wake up the dormant codes in our soul. And actually, if I would love to have everybody, you talk a little bit more about what codes are, like what's an example of some of these codes that are dormant in our souls, that are both supporting us and holding us back, so that people can recognize and say, oh, that's me, and there's help for me, and I can do this. So Aurora, I would so appreciate your expertise on that when we come back.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Mind connected to the heart, connected to the love, connected to the soul. I'm connected to you, connected to me, connected to us.
The Connection app, the perfect way to get to know your partner, yourself, and love more deeply. Download and join today.
Mind connected to the heart, connected to the love, connected to the soul. I'm connected to you, connected to me.
It is time to celebrate self-discovery and personal growth. But your efforts have to be consistent in order to stay balanced and to overcome depression and fears. So, what new books are available? How do you stay centered? Elizabeth Joyce and her guests will help you find out. That's Elizabeth Joyce on Let's Find Out, Mondays at 6 p.m. on OMTimes Radio.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human. And she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Welcome back, you guys. We have Aurora Light with us here today. Certainly, shining light on joy. That's my word that I always, think so much about her when you think of herself truly being the Joy Alchemist, and soul embodiment guide. I love going on journeys with Aurora, whether it's one-on-one and whether it's in a group. She really does, something interesting, Aurora, I want to say is that when you do your lives and you do your videos, yes, you share in that energy with people that are there right then, but I often catch a replay. And you magically, I don't know how you do this, but it feels live. Like I'll write in a comment that you are totally not there, but I feel like then the next thing you say is actually replying to me. And other people must have had this experience in their lives. So I'm just so curious. Why does that happen with some people? Like that we don't actually need to be in the exact same physical time space, but we are communicating.
That's an amazing question, and it is an intention that I set to meet in the 0 point now outside of time and space, and I just call in the energy of everyone that's going to be on the replay. And when I do that, I can physically, tangibly feel the energy of everyone that is going to watch it, and they come closer. So I am working with everybody at that multidimensional energy, so at level. And I love that other people have had that experience too, because it does feel different. We don't have to be limited to just this moment right here.
I think there's a gift in that right there. We do not have to be limited to this moment right here. So everybody, right now, there's a new clock time. Aurora just created it, I think. 0 point now, everyone. So I love that. Let's meet at 0 point now. I'm going to so use that. That's going to be fun the next time somebody hears that. Well, my question to you just before the break was about dormant codes and soul codes. And my question is, are these codes like codes for emotions or frequencies like joy and peace and sadness, or like what are these codes?
They are everything. So
okay.
I think if people want to get deeper into the actual codes, a reference point that I am just diving into is the Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. I actually just got that in the mail. I haven't read it yet except for the introduction. I'm like, oh, this is everything that I do and talk about. And he's going into much more specific details about all of our codes. But it's this genetic information that we have that can either be working in the positive frame or more in the negative, right, the denser, and just about how it expresses in us at different times of our lives. So what I want to say is that I don't work as specifically with like saying this key right here does this one. But one of the things is that it's all of our gifts, all of our abilities, all of our superpowers, all of our expressions in the world and our capacity to do that. So one of the things that I can describe it as is I heard somebody do light language activation back in September it was, and it activated me, turned on this code, and I go, oh, I know how to do that. And it was literally just a lit up remembrance. And then I did it. And it was easy. I didn't have to do anything to learn it. It was just inside me, and I allowed it to flow. And I had been doing it unknowingly, right, singing in the shower and all of that. But that activation that someone gave me then gave me the ability to activate it in other people. And I have clients that have turned on their light language in terms of remembering that they always could do that through listening to mine on replays on Facebook Lives. And then they go and they're like, oh, I can do this too. So it can wave out like that.
I have to ask this clarifying question for the audience as well. When you are, if you would love to share one we'd love to hear, but that's totally on the spot question. When you sing your light language and you share, and that's activating, is it activating you, or is it, I know that you just said you're able to help others, like as you say it, or sing it, it's activating in others theirs, but what is it, do you wake up and say, you know what, instead of meditating today, instead of saying a prayer today, I'm going to do my light language, and that's... an activity that you're doing, like a technique that you're doing, a modality?
Oh, I do it for myself and receive all of the activations as well when I'm in the shower, when I am driving my car, and it's something I do in ceremony with other people. So it can really be anything that I want it to be.
Would you like to share? Would you like to do one?
Sure.
Oh,
I would love to. Absolutely.
Okay. So what should people be preparing or feeling or thinking about when you share this with us?
What I suggest is for people to take a moment, and we can do this together, but to drop into their heart space. So let's just close our eyes and take a breath, breathing in through the nose and filling up the heart. And just sigh it out. And dropping into the body, just noticing how the body feels, and allowing the mind to be an observer, a witness to what it might be, feel, hear, know, experience, and let the sensations wash over the body. And if you feel, see, hear, like nothing, well, you'll hear me. But it's just all perfect. So without judgment, just allowing it to be. And sometimes it's through song, and sometimes it's through just words. And they will maybe sound familiar to you, but from far away, if that makes sense. So let's see what comes through. I was just a little bit distracted. My daughter is 4, and she was caught trying to put on a shirt herself, getting herself changed. So I had to help her a little bit. She did. She got out of her pajamas, and then just need a little help getting her arms into the shirt. She did it. So, she oftentimes comes up and through when the energy of the childlike sacred play wants to come through. So that is what this is going to be bubbling up in me through you. So just honoring that part of us that is just this divine creator and is so innocent and free. Eshkriana ayaki ti ishkena ayaki people. Sirana ayaki puriata aki. Yetasa ishkita ayatapo. Tiki ayani ki variana ayako stida ayatiki iterana ayaki ayaki. Nianai kinayane ni kianayane ini. So that felt like bubbles coming up from my heart that were just wanting to explode out in the sparkly energy of it can be fun, guys.
I felt like that was like pop, and I don't drink pop, so I know what that feels like when you first take a sip.
Yeah, that's totally what it felt like.
Wow. Honestly, that was... I really did feel like that, like the most intense goosebumps. I thought my skin was going to burst. That's funny. Oh. Now, okay, I have to get myself here. When something like that happens that's so intense, like with that right now, did a code just become not dormant in me and others right now?
It certainly could have. So it is always exactly what we need in the moment, and we receive just what we're ready for. So it could have just been a transmission of this energy, and if you are not ready to receive it or nothing needs to be turned on from that, then it's just a transmission of energy, right? Kind of like Reiki or something like that, or someone sending you Care Bear love. And if you are ready to be activated and have things turned on, then that happens through that.
I like that. And that's so, yes, because you know what's funny, when we say I choose, I'm going to go watch a movie with a friend, and we've chosen a movie, and it's one we think, oh, that will make us laugh, or that's going to be a good love story, that's going to be an adventure or something, or mind expansion. And we would each receive something different from witnessing that, experiencing that movie based on where, you're right, what we need at that time. Okay. Okay.
Yep, and it's the lens of perception that we view it through. I mean, you can think something's hilarious, and the person sitting next to you is like, that's not even funny.
Yes, that actually happens to me a lot. When I think things are not funny, by the way. I'm the other way. My humor center is different, but that's okay, and that's a perception thing. Well, we're here about talking about that. That is so interesting because I'm transitioning to inviting people to explore, and I'm really excited about this, to working with you. And I hate the word work because I want to say play with you, because it's not work. Because we all need different. We'll all connect or relate to a different coach, a different mentor, a different healer. What would you like to share with people that they might go, yes, that's, so they can hear and recognize if perhaps you are the one for them? How do you work? How do you help them and assist them?
There are so many different things I love to do, and right now I'm just focusing on 2, but I just want to share that I had been previously working in person with kids and adults with sacred movement and creative expression and meditation and mindset all fused together with a lot of circus and fun and play, so I love bringing that into what I do now. And then I got that nudge intuitively in the summer solstice of last year to go bring everything online and just focus on one-on-one and digital products and digital mentorship. And I was like, okay. And now I know why. So I had all this time to build my business into the digital realm, and it was perfect timing. And I know that's all going to come full circle because I have to work with dance and movement. But I have developed a sacred container for those transformations for soul-led entrepreneurs, the visionary conscious leaders of tomorrow that want to take their life and business to the next level. And I do that with that Joyful Alchemy signature system that I think you referenced, where we transform all of the old ick, then we activate all of the things within us that are ready to be activated and align body, mind, and soul, and then go through the embodiment process of making that space within our bodies for our soul to come and reside and for us to be the soul frequency resonance that we truly are instead of hiding behind the masks, so we can magnetize soulmate beings into our lives, the people we're destined to work with, the people we are destined to be friends with, all of that, and actually express ourselves fully and authentically in ways that change the world, right? Because it's our unique expression that does change the world. And so I love to empower people to step more fully into who they really are, as I'm doing that more myself too. I also have just created a container that is going to be for community doing this together. And that's that Alchemical Creation Academy that was just downloaded to me a couple weeks ago. And I was like, going to do something like this back like in June, July. And then it was like, nope, time collapsed and we need this now. So I'm creating a catalytic community in ceremony that is going to be like a mastermind, but much more ceremonial in that we'll have activations and meditations and downloads and have everyone hold space for each other's creations, what it is that they are wanting to create for themselves and in the world. And I'll have just so much ability to magnify and amplify things when we're doing it in community, because we're doing it together. And that's exactly what we need now, is to rise together.
Yes. Actually, the word illumination, I do feel like there's many involved. It's not like a light or a single flame. You know, when you say illumination, I really feel like that involves a lot. Like, okay, and how fun is that? A catalytic community in ceremony for creation. Okay, 4 C words all in a row. I just love that. That was so much fun. Oh, wow. And it's so beautiful. It's like everything that's, when it comes to beauty, I'm jumping into beauty because that's beauty and joy, and without going to the opposite, like of going fear and everything, maybe some people aren't quite landing. Maybe, right now, there's just with everything, the way the life is all the time, maybe they're just not in a place of feeling that extreme joy and peace and beauty, but they don't need to go all the way to the dark side either. Where's a nice place to kind of just sit, to allow, to be open to? Where's a place somebody can start?
in your own heart. And that is really important. And that's why we move through things step by step and don't skip any of the steps, because then you're spiritually bypassing. I've been guilty of that in the past, living in the bliss bubble because I can go there easily. But to allow the things that are arising to come up and just love them with so much gratitude for all of it, because it's exactly those experiences, the painful ones especially, that are the things that hone us to become that illumination, right? We on Earth School need the harsh experiences to become the ones who can see the light, right? We need the contrast. We need the lesson. So when we can come to a place of being grateful for the lesson, that shifts everything quite quickly. Love and gratitude.
I love that. Coming to a place to be grateful for that lesson. And I would invite everybody right now to quickly jump onto your website, which is joyevolution.com. And who you're looking for to connect with is Aurora Light. And that can be on Facebook and all those lovely places. But just, honestly, just go to joyevolution.com and be a part and just share the energy. And I want to thank you so much, Aurora. Oh my gosh. It feels like this has been a rainbow, just a giant rainbow of sparkleness. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And if they add on a /activate to Joy Evolution.
Okay. Yes. What is it? A flash to activate? Okay. I'm going to put that in the comments. Okay. Yes. I'm going to let them know to do that. Let's actually do that right on my Facebook page right now. Lisa Berry. Everybody go there. We'll let you know how to do this and to do it effortlessly. Lots of bubbles. Thank you, Aurora.
You are so magical. Thank you for playing with me.
Yay! Okay, bye everyone. We'll see you next week.